off with David, because I'm quite sure after David speaks, we'll all have a lot to say. What was your interpretation of Michael Cohen's testimony yesterday, David?
Well, I think he exceeded expectations. I think everybody was concerned that he would come off as a jerk, as he's been portrayed in the media. But I think he was calm, cool, and collective from what I've read. And it seems that he delivered a real punch to the Trump campaign and to the Trump team in terms of what really happened here and what Trump knew and what his desire was. And ultimately, it was not about concern about his wife, Melania, or his family, but it was concern about women on the campaign trail really not liking him because of this activity. And in order to keep Stormy Daniels quiet, they made this payment to make sure that it didn't come out during the campaign. So it seems like it was really cut and dry, very simple. I think it was very real devastating to the Trump camp and his efforts to win this trial. But I think Cohen really delivered in terms of showing what was the intent here and what they were trying to cover up.
David, when you look at Michael Cohen's record, he was the recorder. However, he also recorded the fact that he's a convicted felon. And he actually admitted that he was angry with President Trump for not taking him to the White House. He was angry about not getting a bonus. I heard a lot of frustration on the stand that actually helps, depending upon how you look at it, the defense. What say you?
Well, yeah, I think that was the concern going into this, that does Michael Cohen have a grudge and a bone to pick? And I think for many people, they would give him reason for that and say, yeah, sure. But I think the fact that he was calm on the stand, he delivered what he's been saying and what we've been hearing, it seemed to line up. And the fact that he really sought counsel, not only from Donald Trump, but also from Weisselberg, who is now in jail. That's Donald Trump's former CFO, and that there was some sort of commitment there. It shows that there was a concerted effort to cover this up, to hide it, and to not report it accurately. And the fact of the length that Cohen went to, taking out a home equity loan on his home because his wife would have known if he took the money from the account. I could see this, and this is a pattern that's lining up with Donald Trump. He uses the people around him to the ultimate extent that he can, until he can no longer do it. And you have people like Michael Cohen scattered throughout Donald Trump's career. And this is just a shining example of what Donald Trump does. And I think this isn't news to any of us. We all know and understand this is Donald Trump's character, and his pursuit is about him and only him. He even made a comment. He said, wouldn't Melania upstairs in the penthouse be upset about this? And he's like, well, how long do you think I'll be on the market? Alluding to the fact that, hey, the presidential race comes up once in a lifetime. But to him, a wife or an extramarital affair is no big deal. So it was really telling in that.
Well, that's allegedly.
Right.
Well, this is what Michael Cohen said on under oath.
All we heard on that recording is Cohen saying, no, 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 no. It doesn't sound like Cohen was really forthright with President Trump. What say you?
Well, I think you're right about that key point that Donald Trump just said, hey, take care of it, and wanted to be able to deny anything coming back to him. And I think that's the crux of this whole case and this situation, is that he had someone to him that was extremely loyal, Michael Cohen, who we now know has a lot of flaws. But Donald Trump seemed fine with that because he needed a henchman, if you will, someone to take care of things that might be morally corrupt. And he had someone like Michael Cohen to do it. And that's clear in this case that he said, look, take care of it. I don't care how you do it. And almost in a way that he wanted to leave Michael Cohen holding the bag and not even repay him. And there's a lot of detail in terms of what would happen in terms of how Michael Cohen, or how much he was expecting to get paid back, and all of that $420,000 that he was expecting in terms of his bonus and being able to pay back in terms of be whole on income taxes he had to pay. But I think the biggest problem here, when I look at this, is Donald Trump at the end of the day complaining about the system, complaining about the judge, That's the biggest problem for me here. That he's just degrading the entire judicial system because he
But
doesn't
David,
like that
but
he's
but David,
the
you
spotlight.
but
And to
David,
call it lawfare, I think is extremely unfair. He's criticizing this judge. This judge was appointed by a Republican mayor, remember. First of all, that's how he got his start. So he's making this reach that he's somehow connected to Joe Biden. I mean, it's just absurd. But just to anytime you have a problem to attack your opponent,